Welcome to Pitch Day for 500K. Today we're going to hear from Barry, who's going to tell us about Neurosomnics, and then Tal is going to tell us about Mestal Biosciences. So thanks to both Barry and Tal for going through our rigorous process, having your pitch deck criticized from every way to Sunday. For those who are new to our program, Startup NV is Nevada's statewide nonprofit startup accelerator and incubator. We operate 7 entrepreneurship programs supported by government grants and corporate sponsors. We get additional financial support in the form of donated equity from successful accelerator companies and profit sharing from our 4 affiliated investment funds and our syndicate. Pitch Day our fortnightly Pitch Day offers companies the opportunity to join our accelerator program with an investment from Fund NV, our investor syndicate, plus matching funds from Nevada's SSBCI program. Since 2021, we've directly invested about $13 million in 27 different private startups, plus another $6.5 million of PIPE, which is a private investment in public equity for one of our companies that went public. Our startup investments have grown to about $44 million in value, which means we've multiplied that money by 3.5–4 times for our investors. Partner co-investments and from Nevada's SSBCI program and others have amplified our $13 million significantly, and they've added another somewhere between $26 and $27 million to the money we've invested since 2021. Okay, now the lawyers tell me I have to say this. Today's pitches are for investment from our legally compliant venture funds and syndicate. Those are restricted to SEC accredited and Nevada certified investors. We welcome the community to attend for educational purposes, ask questions, and learn. But the pitches are not considered a general solicitation for investment. The pitches, again, are to our investment funds. And special thanks to our sponsors, the City of Las Vegas, Clark County, the Governor's Office of Economic Development, and the EDA. Some quick housekeeping. We've made 7 investments so far this year, 3 of them from Fund NV2, 3 of them from 1864, and another one from our syndicate. Actually, there's 2 from our syndicate, so that should be 8. Our latest investment was a company that pitched here on August 28th, Listening Post. So if anybody out there is interested in Listening Post, hit us up. We'll send you the deal memo and you can invest. All right, so that's all the announcements for now. Barry, hopefully you are ready. I'm looking back at the screen to see.
Hello, everybody. Barry Caden, Neurosomnics. It's great to be here. So Neurosomnics is developing a non-invasive neuromodulation device to treat obstructive sleep apnea. And it also has a digital health component to it as well, based on the array of sensing and data that's delivered. So sleep apnea is a very serious problem. It's roughly 1 in 4 Americans suffer from it. And it comes with many comorbidities. This is just a few, including heart disease, which is the #1 killer of people in the US. So what obstructive sleep apnea happens when there's a loss of neural drive where the upper airway muscles aren't innervated, and this causes them to fall backwards into the airway. So the tongue falls backwards and often the soft palate. And this causes a choking effect where the lack of oxygen can lead to many comorbidities. Some of them are listed here. So CPAP is the gold standard treatment for sleep apnea. It works for all severity cases and it works very, very well. But unfortunately, it's very, very poorly tolerated, with anywhere between 25 and 80% adherence. So on average, about 40% of people cannot tolerate CPAP. Oral appliance therapy is where an oral appliance, upper and lower, pulls the mandible forward, and that helps open up the airway. But unfortunately, it's got a low responder rate, and it's only really applicable to people with mild apnea and snoring. Now, if you've got moderate to severe apnea and you're one of the 40% that can't tolerate CPAP, what do? Well, your only options are very invasive implanted devices. So the Nexo device here on the right got approved recently by the FDA, and it's major surgery, and you cannot actually turn the device on for 2 to 4 months after it's implanted. And here's the Inspire device. It's been on the market for a while. You can see how complicated it is and the surgery required to implant this device. They're also very expensive devices, anywhere between 40 to 60K. And they don't have a 100% responder rate, actually less than 70%, which means if the therapy is not effective after you've been through that invasive surgery and you're still at risk of adverse events, you may have to do dual therapy with the mandibular advancement device, also like the one in the left corner here. They also have very serious adverse events rates of nearly 10%. The device we're developing is a hypoglossal nerve stimulator, but it's non-invasive. So it's based on a neural appliance where it stimulates the necessary nerve fibers to open up the airway from the oral floor, so from the bottom of the mouth. And it does that by an array of sensing where we can, and an array of stimulation also, where we can move the electric field around to find the optimal place to stimulate. We know that based on sensor feedback, and also it provides closed loop control, so it gives you the optimal therapy that you can get. The bottom right here is our an example of a clinical device. Now, the bottom on its own is monotherapy. That's a hypoglossal nerve stimulator. And if you include the upper part, that's the oral appliance therapy that pulls the mandible forward. Now, that's dual therapy has been shown to be very, very, very effective. So hopefully you only need the one therapy, but if you need two, that option is there. And this is the upper part is an example of what the device will look like with the electronics fully integrated. We've already collected clinical data with an IRB with our clinical device below, but the finished product will be fully integrated up here in the top right. We have our first patent, and we're waiting on second PCT, and we have filed others. So major advantages with this, obviously, because it's non-invasive, so it's a lot safer, but it's also personalized to the patient based on feedback, where you only stimulate as much as you need, and you ensure that you stimulate in the right place where you can optimally open up the airway. Now, the array of sensor data, though, it gives you great feedback, and when you charge the device during the day, the data will be uploaded to the cloud, and that enables a digital health platform. Now, this data it can be used for many things. For example, sleep reports. It can tell you how well the therapy is working, and therapy may need to be adjusted over time, because if you gain weight, you lose weight, all kinds of factors. But it gives you a real insight into what's going on with the patient and the therapy, and it can actually be used for general health tracking as well. Also, it can detect comorbidities. Let's say you've got COPD or heart disease. This will help alert you to these kinds of things. Also, compliance monitoring is also important, because insurance companies are now requiring that. This is a massive market. It's estimated to be roughly 60 million, with new studies coming out. It's different studies have different numbers. A recent ResMed study believes that 77 million Americans will have OSA by 2050. Our service available market here is 8 million CPAP users, because this will be a CPAP alternative. And the service obtainable market is the CPAP failures. That's the 2 to 3 million people per year that fail CPAP. And these are the people that have moderate to severe apnea, who are really at health risk if they're not treated, but they've got no alternative. They can't adhere to CPAP. The oral device isn't going to work the oral appliance device isn't going to work for them, because they're a severe case. And this is our beachhead market, basically. And the 5-year projections of 400 billion is basically how quickly we can get devices out to patients that need it. We estimate about 4 to 5 technicians could deliver close to 30,000 devices per year. So our key customers are the sleep physician and the ENT. The target price is around about 5K, which gives a 90% margin. Now, some of the comps we have on reimbursement suggest that our reimbursement will probably be over 10K. So this will be the Notrix Health, for example, is another sleep apnea company that treats restless leg syndrome based on a non-invasive neurostimulation. So, as I mentioned, incredibly big market, and it's only 20% penetrated, really, because people haven't been diagnosed yet. ResMed are the market leaders in CPAP. Inspire Medical, the implant I showed on the left, they're a $1 billion company now, and they're the leaders in hypoglossal nerve stimulation. SomnoMed is an oral appliance company, but there are many oral appliance companies out there. So we're seeking 1 million, which will take us to pivotal trials. We're also waiting for our phase 2 NSF grant. We've been funded so far with a phase 1 NSF grant, which has taken us this far. So another billion will take us to MVP. So that's the fully integrated device. It'll take us through feasibility studies when we'll be ready to start our pivotal trial late next year. And that'll require a Series A 5 million raise. We're estimating that it will be over 3x pre-money valuation at that point when we have the clinical data. We'll have more patents through, and we'll have our MVP. So we'll be sitting in a very good position. We'll be looking for $80 to $100 billion exit come FDA approval. Although exits will be possible all the way through this, because once people see the clinical data and see the effectiveness of it, it's definitely possible to be taken out early. And we're also talking to the major strategics in this space. All have expressed interest in one in particular, but has expressed a lot of interest to come in and invest at the pivotal trial stage. We've got a great team here. I've taken many products to market. The first artificial pancreas. I've taken sleep devices to market. Gino's our software guru. And Tiffany here, I've worked with for many years, is an expert at clinical manufacturing and regulatory, and we're putting quite a bit of work into the patent side of things, because it's obviously a critical component for an exit. So we're seeking 1 million to take us to the pivotal trial stage. So a safe with a cap of 6 million, 20% discount or convertible note. And that's for operations, product development, definitely IP, our ongoing clinical and feasibility work. And around about 100K will take us will get us to the NSF phase 2 stage. And then we'll be looking for a Series A 5 million for a pivotal trial. So it's a very exciting device. It's the non-invasive nature of it makes it an obvious way to go first. So even though it can be a CPAP alternative, it will compete with CPAP straight away, because people just don't want CPAP. Right now, with the current technologies that are on the market, you actually have to fail CPAP before you can have an oral appliance. And so you can be prescribed our device right away. So it won't be just a CPAP replacement.
Thanks, Barry.
Thanks, Tal. And Barry, thanks for your presentations today. And thanks everybody who managed to make it over here to our home here at the International Innovation Center. We've been at Woven for the past couple of months, and we're moving things back here. So welcome to our office. Again, thanks to everybody for joining us today here in the room, for everybody who's joined us online or might watch this later. A couple of quick reminders before we wrap up. For investors who liked some of those numbers that I was talking about at the beginning of the presentation, where we've made about 4 times our money back in about 3.5 years. If you want to get hooked up with us as an investor, again, go back to startupnv.org, follow the I'm an Investor path. And there's a couple of different ways that you can get engaged with us at FundNV, at 1864, with the Sierra Angels, or on company-specific syndicate opportunities. Just stick your hand up, fill out a form, and you'll probably be on the phone with me if you do that to find out more about it. So we'd also appreciate it if you'd follow us on social media, especially on LinkedIn and YouTube. Those are our biggies. We also post to Facebook and Insta and Twitter and all the rest. So follow us everywhere. And thanks to the founders who presented today, to all the attendees, everybody who put questions out there for Maggie to ask, to our investor group who made it here today and who may be watching this later. We appreciate you. And if you don't mind, join us again here in 2 weeks to hear from 2 additional Nevada startups. And until then, take care of yourself. And if you can, someone else too. We will see you back here in 2 weeks. Bye.